Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Making of Podcast. I am super excited for today's session because I have not one, but two of the amazing people I get to call my friends. Josh Scott, you guys know and love him. He is the CEO and founder of Studio 88, my personal marketing company, who I love. And the one and only Dr. Toni Torres of Bloom Dental Co. You've already heard her journey for the past 6 months here on this season's The Making of. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Hi guys, how are you?
Hi.
So
I'm
good.
I'm good. I'm really excited to be here. I have a chaotic week going on at home, so this is so nice to see both of you.
Oh, it likewise. I feel like we live in the chaos. It's
Yeah.
just chaotic all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I've been looking forward to this ever since it got on my calendar. So I know,
Oh,
Tony, we first met back. It was the making of retreat, but it was in Vail, which would have been what? That was the fall of, was
I
it
think it was
2024?
September 24.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
it
So
24? It wasn't, holy crap, it wasn't 25.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't 25. So yeah, that's when I first met you, and it was just in the conference room there, but talking to me then about your startup. So this is, it's been a process for sure.
Yeah, I know. You gave a pretty rad speech at that
Oh,
retreat. And
I
I was
love
like,
that.
who is this dude? Perfect timing, kismet. So I do. I remember going up to you and just being like, you spoke about everything that I want in this practice that I'm dreaming up right now in my head, and how I want to portray it. And that's kind of how we got introduced by Ashley.
Yeah.
Yes, I love bringing together amazing people. And hold on, Colin, cut this part out. Brian is behind the scenes and he's recording. You can't hear what we're talking about.
Hi,
He's
Brian.
Hi,
they
Oh,
Brian.
he can't
they
hear me.
say
You just said
hi. They
that.
say hi. He's trying to play with TikTok Live. TikTok Live is one thing if you can hear both sides of the conversation. Yeah.
This totally needs to make the episode. Just
I know,
send
This
Colin, put this.
totally,
Colin, keep it.
my gosh, Colin is used to us having screen.
Uh,
Oh man.
Okay, sorry guys. I had to get my cell phone away from my face because it was way too distracting. So I'm so glad that you guys had a chance to meet at retreat, and we're gonna go into all the details. But before we do, we have to do a this or that. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna do both of you at the same time. So you just call out what you think, okay? Hot dog or hamburger?
Hamburger.
Electric or gas car?
Electric.
That's sorry. Sorry.
Sorry,
Okay,
Planet Earth.
Chat GPT, Gemini, or Claude?
Claude.
I've only done ChatGPT. That's all I
A-
know.
And red wine or white wine?
Mm,
Really? Is that an actual like question?
yes. Don't make fun of her questions, Josh.
I mean, red wine for sure.
Yeah, red.
Red, red. Okay, so I will also choose a hamburger, electric, Claude, and red. Yeah. I've
I
been
mean,
playing with Claude. It's so fun.
is it? I've heard good things.
Yeah, I got both of them. I was on ChatGPT for a while and I got a Claude subscription for 20 bucks. And for about 2 weeks, I ran exactly everything through both of them that I would. And honestly, it was like Claude just kept beating it. And
Yeah.
it's just slight stuff, like nuance, but I'm like, I like the way it said that better. I like what it suggested. One of the cool things this weekend, so I got into Claude Cowork, which is a tab at the top, and it
Mm.
actually kind of creates an app for you. And so one of the things I was really interested in as a CEO is like, how do I spend my time and getting an analysis of it? So I connected my Gmail, my calendar, my Google Drive. I connected, we use Slack to communicate as a team. We use Notion. So my EA has all these Notion boards we've built out. I use an app called Things. And so I had to go get this like connector piece to get that in there. But then it went back and I was like, analyze my time from March and tell me like how many meetings am I having? What percentage of my time is in leadership and
Oh,
people? What percent administrative? I also was like, here's my quarterly goals. What percentage of my time is spent working on those? Here's our company initiatives. How am I moving those forward? And it produces like 8 page executive summary that was just
Oh my
really
gosh.
fun to look through. And I was like, this is amazing that things can like function that way.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I, technology, I mean, AI it's actually kind of terrifying because we're all being replaced. Brian told me that there is a robot that cut a crown in a patient's mouth in 15 minutes.
Where is this robot?
I don't know. I don't know the details.
I feel like
it's probably somewhere in Asia. You know, crazy Asians. I can say
yeah, I'm
that
like
because I'm
totally
Asian.
overseas.
Totally overseas. It's definitely not FDA approved. Definitely not. Okay, let's do some backstory. I know that you guys talked quickly about the retreat that we hosted in Vail. I can't believe that was in 2024. That was September of 2024. And we hosted at the beautiful Four Seasons in Vail, Colorado. Have you guys ever been to Vail? Josh, you have.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
I had gone before too.
Oh my God, that was our first time. I think we randomly chose the location because you just hear about Vail so much. And when we went, I was like, we definitely have to do a retreat here. So we did like a sneak peek session and we met with someone at the Four Seasons and we're like, okay, this is it. This is where we're going to host the third retreat. And I had consistent remarks from the attendees who have been to all three, and they actually said that Vail was their favorite. Josh, what are your thoughts? I know you are a lover of Napa and all things wine. How did
I
it compare to Vail?
I am. Vail has a really special place for me. I've got a client that's out in that area, and for 10 plus years, I do some like fractional CMO work for them. And so for 10 years, I've been going to that area, and they're a little bit further out, like 45 minutes away, but I always stay in Vail. And there's something about that community. It's peaceful. I don't know, you're there in the mountains, even the Four Seasons, the whole vibe there. I think everybody is a minute to just go like let me exhale and rest
Yeah,
for a minute. It felt like that. Now, my body is not friends with elevation and
no.
sleeping and the lack of oxygen and even like these bands, it's like you're at 86% pulse ox at night. I'm like, that's not good. And I don't sleep well. So after about 3 or 4 days, I'm like, I really start
Yeah,
feeling it. But
yeah.
yeah,
I am to dovetail off of that. So Vail is what, 8,600 elevation,
yeah,
I think.
yeah.
It is so freaking high up there. And I had no idea what elevation sickness was until we got to the resort and I just had almost a migraine. Like
Yeah.
instantaneously, I'm like, my body's feeling weird. I have an aura ring. Every night my sleep score was 13 or less. And my HRV, my heart rate variability, the lowest I saw ever was 8. I'm like, my body
Oh
is
my God.
rejecting this elevation, this altitude. Toni, were you doing okay in the elevation?
It was fine. I feel I've been up there a few times before and I had been sick before, but you told us to get those patches that you like put behind your ear. And I think that saved me because I felt fine. I also flew into Denver and then drove up. So I think that was better than those of you who flew directly into Vail because I could kind of acclimate a little
Gotcha.
easier. I remember a lot of people, who came unprepared who didn't feel the best, at least the
Yeah.
first day.
No.
And then
And
you just run around the last, the last day in the scavenger hunt. So we're all like dying up
Yeah.
there.
that scavenger hunt was pretty epic. I don't think we've ever actually released a lot of that raw footage
No.
from all of the groups. I think we're going to hold it hostage just to make sure you guys come back for the next retreat, which we've postponed, obviously, because Brian wasn't doing so hot this past year. But he's starting radiation. He actually started radiation yesterday, and
Right.
now it's every day for 6 weeks.
Wow.
So I just can't wait for this part of our story to be behind us. But
Yeah.
you guys have been both so amazing in supporting us throughout this. And enough about Brian. Let's talk about all things branding, marketing, the startup, telling your story. Where do we even begin? Gosh, there is so much.
Well, I know, Tony, you had us come on at first. It was just to do the logo project,
Right.
right? And
Mhm.
I know you had a concept there. And what's so fun about working with startup founders is like you're seeing something in your head. And a lot of times it's like hard to even articulate or how does that get out into the real world? And so our team being able to come alongside and try to interpret that and then get it into a design is such a fun process. But your logo and the aesthetic's beautiful. I'm assuming you're happy with it.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. And you're right. I didn't know how to voice what type. I didn't even know what I wanted it to really look like. I just had a few criteria and then met with your design team, right? And you have a whole like heavy psychology questionnaire,
Yeah.
right? Really, I really took my time with that questionnaire because you guys put a lot of love into that. And really, it asked so much into my psyche. And I think that's how it pulled out of me what I was looking for in my brand. And your design team was awesome. I basically just pitched to them that I didn't want it to feel dental. I don't want a tooth on it. I don't want a toothbrush. I don't want it to be cheesy. I want it to look like someone would assume it was a different type of business. I wanted someone to see it and think, is this like a jewelry shop? Is this a flower boutique? Is this a coffee shop? And I wanted it to be delicate and feminine. And, anytime I put any of that into like Chat GPT or anything like that, they think, oh, you're a dentist. You want a big, cheesy toothbrush logo. And
Yeah.
so that whole process, I remember being super fun.
Yeah.
And I never felt stressed, which I assumed I would have been because I'm a very picky person. And I thought that it would have been a lot of me trying to discuss with the design team things I didn't like or things that they didn't pick up in my description of what I wanted. And honestly, it was so smooth. I remember them. I know you can explain in more depth because I had Constance. She was the one kind of telling me everything that was going on. And I think they gave it to two or three designers. They drew up three different iterations based on that whole questionnaire I filled out for you all. And then you guys all voted on it, I
Mhm.
think, and showed
Yeah.
me the top three after looking at really what I wanted in my branding. And honestly, the first one she showed me, I was like, I love it. I love it.
Oh,
I think we changed a few of like the petal colors. We changed together and maybe a little bit of the words, but it was pretty much that first iteration is the one I went with.
oh, that's great. Yeah, we have a I mean, we've got five, six designers now on our team full time. So we try to pair every project with a male and a female designer just because you get different perspectives. They come to the table with 3 to 5 designs each, and then our creative team has a little bit of a voting process, and then we pitch three to the client. And a lot of people are surprised by that because especially if you go to like 99 Designs or something, you get like 30 something logo designs,
Yeah.
and I try to explain to people it's a little bit of a lazy, easy way to do that because you're just throwing stuff at a wall and you're like, what's sticking for you, right? Versus being able to take the time to get to know the client, also the competition in the area, what's a mark that's going to stand out and be different?
Mhm.
How's it going to start the story? Like, there's so much more into it that we need to be intentional and then go, here's why we like these and why they can accomplish your goal.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really do. It is all about the questionnaire. How did you come up with that? Because I remember it being super broad scope. Write me a one-page essay about your dream practice, and then you narrowed it all the way down to like, okay, what's your three-sentence elevator pitch?
Yeah.
And it was very interesting, like going through that whole process.
Yeah, I built the first couple iterations of that when we first started the company, and I don't know where I originally saw it, but I did some research and kind of pulled some stuff in, and like, what is it that we're really trying to know? And if we're going to be story based, like, how do we figure that out? My big value was like, I didn't want to be just like this what's the word, like a warehouse just pumping out websites, right? Everything looks the same. And so I'm like, if we're going to take this custom approach and actually tell a story, we've got to figure out how to get that out of the clients. And it's probably, honestly, even today, it's one of the more unique things that we do that separates ourselves, that kind of onboarding process. But yeah, it's evolved since then. Other team members have made it better. And I love, 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 love that you did not want a tooth or a toothbrush. While I respect this profession so much, I have tried to I've actually tried to make it a rule in Studio 88. We will not design anything with teeth and toothbrushes. That was a rule for a while because I'm like, and my team would come back and they're like, but some people they want that. And then they're wanting to go someplace else. And they're like, Josh, you just got to be able to give on that in some cases, and we can make something that looks aesthetically great. And I'm like, fine, I will allow some teeth
I
logo.
get it. I mean, look, I love little teeth stuff. Look how cute. Like
Yeah.
I'm obsessed. But it's not us as dentists. It's not our whole identity. It's not our whole business. Like, obviously, we're dentists, we work in the mouth, but I felt that I aligned with your business model and your branding and your style because it shows that we're more than that. And it takes away a lot of the anxiety and fear when someone walks into my office versus if someone walks in to an office from the 80s.
Yeah.
And people feel that difference. And I think I've said this before on the podcast. I feel like people are craving that personality, that personalization, and that creativity in healthcare and in all businesses right now.
Yeah, I just think it's like you're a dentist. And so if you put a tooth in your logo, you're communicating teeth. And I'm like, but that's kind of obvious. Like you're a dentist. So like you have a chance to actually start a different story. And why wouldn't you do that with your icon and the logo and that initial brand? So I think people assume teeth. Let's tell them a different story.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's the number one thing. I get a new patient, they're like, "Where did you come up with the idea of Bloom? I saw your sign from the street and I thought you guys were like, a lot of people think we're like a marijuana dispensary or something. I don't, because I think like they see the flower and I'm like, hey, it's a great conversation starter. Gives them something like some curiosity and some question into why I'm doing what I'm doing. And they're already tied in, you
Yeah.
know?
It's funny you say that because there are people that would push back on that and go, isn't it better to be clear, like that you're a dentist, right? Right from the start. They've got 2 seconds, they see a sign, it's like, oh, that's a dentist. But then that path takes you down to just putting dentist on the
Yeah.
facade, right? And you see that. I mean, you still go to the East Coast and you're driving through Jersey and it's just like dentist, like real big. I went through that with Studio 88, and when we started, it was way more like a boutique agency. And so I didn't think anything of it as we really started to grow, I kind of struggled with that. Like, do people know that this is dental marketing? And maybe we should change it to 88 dental marketing. Like, let's just be real clear and put it out there. But the truth is, like, you can build a brand. The brand isn't the name and the logo, it's the experience that people are having. It's the way that they're feeling. And you can grow either way. It probably takes a little bit more intention to grow without, something very clear and in your face. But the connection, the trust, the empathy, all those things are just so much deeper because of it.
Yeah, and it's kind of like what you said, we're here to be different. I know that's Ashley's whole model too with her practices and if you just put a sign up that says dentist, you're just attracting volumes of people who, maybe want to just get it done, get in and out, have the cheapest thing and go home. And that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to really be present in my community and, create a reputation for us and I'm hoping that the people in my community are attracted to us because we are standing out and we are different and we do have a bigger message than just drill and fill. We want to help
Absolutely.
healthier and change their lives.
Toni, I just want to back up just for a second. So when you went to the retreat, how far along into your startup journey were you?
Like nothing. All I had done is met with a banker and I told him I was obsessed with you and he showed me your commercial and then he's like, hey, because they obviously wanted me to take a loan out with them, I think. And he's the one that gave me the free ticket to your retreat. And that's how this
Okay.
all started. So I had not even secured a loan, secured a lease, anything. And
And
that's why it was so pivotal for me because then I'm around all of you guys and all of the doctors that are a part of your community. And I was like a wake up call. I was like, whoa, I need to step it up and be in more rooms with these types of people in order to get to where I want to be. Like these people understand what I'm just in these early stages of feeling right now and have lived
yes.
it, experienced it.
And then my follow-up question is so you were super like you were just starting your journey into your own practice. When did you start the discussions with Studio 88? Because for the listener out there listening to this podcast, they have a dream of building their own practice. They are at ground zero. They have no loan. When is the appropriate time to start that next step? Either
So
Toni or Josh.
for me, I went home after that retreat and created my LLC, chose my name, created my LLC. And then I think I reached out to Josh maybe like 2 weeks later. I don't
Wow.
remember. I mean, I broke ground the following April
Okay.
1st. So, and that's also speaking to the fact I didn't even have a location yet. So I did. I started creating the brand and making it real.
Yeah.
And then Josh, what would the average time frame that you're thinking about when you have these discovery calls with clients?
Yeah. Ideally, we like to be 5 months out. That gives us time to. I actually really like the way you did it, Tony, because you started with the brand first and kind of almost did that as like a separate project. And I think some of that is just helpful to bring some of your vision into reality and kind of get you down the road. And then we kind of paused for a bit and then we came back and said, okay, let's do the website project as we got closer to launching the practice. Some practices don't have that luxury because especially if you want to name the practice after the community or the city or the area, like you almost got to wait till that lease gets signed and you're like, okay, now this isn't going to change. But so yeah, 5 months for us is ideal. It helps us build all the assets, get a temporary website up about 90 days before you launch, and then start SEO work and all that.
Yeah, you know what? I remember. So that was when was the retreat? End of September?
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember getting the email to go over, not maybe not receiving it, but I was trick or treating with my kids and showing my friend who we were out with him and his kids. He's a graphic designer, so I remember having him look at my three options. So it was pretty quick
Yeah.
that we went through that process of meeting you, reaching out to getting actual designs sent to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
And then you have not had your content, your production session yet. It's coming up here in May, I believe, right?
April 30th.
Oh, April 30th. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
You
nice.
are
So
gonna have so much
I'm
fun,
so
Tony.
nervous. I told you I don't know what
I'm
to
excited
wear.
for you. Oh my gosh. Okay, so just so you guys know, Josh Scott and his amazing team, when you guys were still such a much smaller company,
yeah.
they flew out in 2017 after I had opened Smile and Co. Folsom. And I think we had been open just a couple months, Josh, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yep.
And we filmed some content and it was so much fun, so much fun. And then from there, I think it took, was it like 8 weeks to build the web,
Yeah.
or was it a
We
bit
built
longer?
No, that's right. Usually from the content session, we're about 8 weeks to build a site. If we're waiting on the content, one of the things we did with Tony, we've actually transitioned to this as a company, is we typically build the websites first now with we have Tony, you had some photography as well that you provided us. But we've also over the years we've built up our own, like we call the Studio 88 custom stock bank of photography. Like it's just stuff like general dental shots that we go into practices and do our own photo sessions. And then we can kind of build websites with that. And so for a lot of our practices, it's just that deadline of getting a site up, it just becomes such a big deal sometimes, especially a startup. You don't want to wait for that session and wait till you're open and then build a site. And then so then once we get the content like we will for Tony here, then we can just put it back in and it's pretty seamless.
And adding to that, when I just opened, you hardly have any team members, you know,
Right.
and I wasn't even fully decorated. I'm still not, but it makes more sense to me too. You know, I'm a little more established. I've already had my grand opening, put the final touches I wanted on the walls that I want in the photos on the website, you know, so it is nice to have that extra time. And your stock photos are so cute. They're not like cheesy, you know, like superposed things. They're really fun and warm and joyful. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good group to choose from. If you had to think stock photos, I don't want people thinking
Right.
traditional stock photos.
Yeah, that's like we kind of were like it's our stock, it's our custom stock. It's like how do we
Yeah,
explain that? Yeah, but
yeah.
guys, you know what's going to be crazy here soon is watching dental websites get populated with AI images. Like it's
Yeah.
already happening, but like we're going to start to see it. It's like what stock photos were back in the early 2000s or something, where like that one picture of that one girl
One
smiling is like
girl,
Yeah.
yeah,
everywhere across the
everywhere.
country.
Yeah.
Um, so I was doing a speech a couple weeks ago about AI marketing, and I was like, just because you can doesn't mean you always should. And humans still want humans; they still want real. And so, can we recreate some photography? Yes. We use AI right now mostly for like Tony, if we came out and shot your team, and then 6 months later, one of the team members not there. Oh, it does an amazing job of removing that team member from the photo.
Good
So
to
Wow.
we
know.
do some. freaky stuff. I mean, you can have a practice of like 30 people, and inevitably they've, switched them all out. And so, I mean, there was one I remember we pulled out like six different people from a big group, and then you got to smush the group together so it doesn't look like there's all those gaps, and then it fills in the background, and you're just like, wow, nobody would ever know.
Like, yeah, Jessica who?
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Crazy.
is that is super handy for sure, because you are going to have some turnover. It's inevitable. No, I'm excited for you, Toni. So that's going to happen in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think 2 weeks. I've got some really fun and cute patient models, including my kids. So it's
Beautiful.
be fun. Yeah, I'm
Awesome.
excited and a little nervous.
You guys are gonna be great.
And
Uh,
who is her photographer, Josh? Do you know?
I could find out here. Tony, do you know off the top of your head?
I don't.
They're all amazing. They're all amazing. But they will make you feel so comfortable. And you are going to be so tired though. It's especially you're doing the videography too, I presume.
No, I'm just doing
Oh,
the,
photography.
yeah, just the
Gotcha.
still photos. That's what this girl could
Gotcha.
afford right now, you know.
Oh, that'll be for Bloom 2.0 website then. We'll add the
Yeah.
videography.
Yeah, your photographer, her name is Alexis. She's been with us like 3 years now. Ashley, she's been trained by Jeff. She's
Oh,
one of our female photographers. She's just fantastic, sweet, super sweet person, and yeah, highly,
Mm,
highly talented.
I'm so excited.
that is really exciting stuff. Josh, I do want to just go on a tangent. Where are we in the world headquarters?
Oh man, it just went vertical about a couple weeks ago. So steel started going up. They've got it all framed in. They're putting the exterior steel walls on. So uh,
Amazing.
it we started this in February of 2023. So I mean, I am now 3 years into
Oh my, it's
a
been that long.
that's when we started looking for land. And then it's just been I have so much now. I'm like, I've always had so much empathy for startups, especially doing ground up builds, because they start with us and the delays, and it's like a 2 year process. And now I got to go through it. So it's, but we
Jeez.
should be in
To
it.
the club.
Join
Yeah,
the
join the
well,
club.
okay.
I know.
We need to know some stats here. Like, how big is this building? What's it for? What do you envision is going to take place in this
Yeah,
headquarters?
it's 11,000 square feet.
Jeez.
It's definitely bigger. It's a completely, I think, 16-foot ceilings throughout, maybe 18. It'll actually slope. I think it goes from 18 to 14. So there's a little bit
Oh
of
my
a kind
gosh.
of an angle
Can
on
I
the roof.
propose? You can be president of this club.
Yeah.
I elect you.
Yes, yes.
The crazy thing is like 3 years ago, we had built it to kind of house like 60-ish team members really
Okay.
comfortably. But we're going to be moving in with like 60 team members because we just grew faster than we thought, and it's taken longer. And so I'm like, right now, I'm like, I literally can't think about that. We need to get into the space and we need to see how it feels. But to turn around and go through like an expansion, I don't know that I have it in me right now. So I want to get in for a while and just enjoy it.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh, maybe
Well,
like bunk bed desks. We can do some space management.
That's
Add
right.
a couple more desks in there.
That's right. I know. Yeah, but we built our own production studio, which will be great because we rent those out across the city, and so being able to host clients like at our own facility and headquarters, our ability, we've got like the middle, we call the middle space Central Park, and that's kind of where the whole like all team will gather on a Monday, and so but that can also double as like event space, which will be cool. We've already got a couple of events for 2027 like on the books to be in there, so it's going to be it's a new chapter for our company, and I'm
yeah.
super excited about that.
Now,
When
when is the target completion date?
We are supposed to have the keys in hand on October 23rd,
Okay.
and I think the team is going to get in there Monday, November 9th.
wow.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Wow. I I definitely want to see it in person. Let's schedule this ASAP. We were supposed to fly out there
Yeah,
literally, I think, gosh, we
yeah,
were supposed to fly out on that Friday, the week that I found Brian's lesion.
yeah, I know.
And I messaged, sorry guys, I know this is TMI, but I messaged Joanna. I like voice messaged her and I'm like sobbing in it. And I'm like, I think I just found cancer and we have to reschedule. And so I have not forgotten about that, Josh. Make sure to mark me in your calendar because we're going to do some content once you guys are up and running.
Yeah, well, and I would say the upside to that is you'll get to come out to the new space and do it there and see all that, which will be a ton of fun. But yeah, that was a tough week for I mean for you, but that sometimes when you get news and it's almost like somebody just like punches you in the gut, like you almost just
Yeah.
lose your breath and you're just like,
Yep.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how Joanna and I felt that week.
Oh, yeah. It's I've definitely been holding my breath a lot actually for the last 6 months. And
Yeah.
it's so crazy, like physically, I've noticed that I have to remind myself to exhale sometimes, which I never, I mean, I always thought I was pretty even keeled and pretty calm, but anytime Brian is going in for a checkup, a scan, and it's, but God has been so good. And yeah, no, we're excited to be done with this. Hopefully forever.
I know.
Hopefully.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes, forever.
Yeah.
So I do have some questions because I got some questions from our amazing audience. As a solo founder, should the brand be about me as the doctor, or should I build a brand that can eventually exist without me?
Good question. Is that for me or for Tony?
I would like to hear both.
You want to go first?
Sure. I mean, like where I'm at now and knowing what I know about your journey, Ashley, I think you should always prepare to be able to step away because we don't
Mhm.
know what the future holds. And look at you and your situation right now. You luckily have a great team and you've built this brand and added associates and added, team members. And thank goodness you had this opportunity to be with your family and step away from it. Now, I'm also feeling this right now in the early stages of my business because everything I'm marketing and branding on Instagram, on social media is all me and my face. And so now I am starting to have that fear because I'm so early in my career. And as my children get older, I know they're going to have 4 o'clock games and things that I want to be at. And so I'm completely open to the idea of having to bring someone else on and handle some of the day to day. And I just truly believe that if you are branded completely just on one person, then you're going to be stuck if you need to someday step away from that. So I think still create a brand that reflects you and your morals and what you want to provide to the community, but you can reflect it in a way of something you are a part of. It's not you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
agreed.
I completely agree with that. And I think in the beginning stages, I think the values of the company, the practice are more your values as the head of it. But as you'll watch as the company, the practice grows, it starts to take on its own set of values and energy and vibe. And that's really cool to watch. So I would say like you absolutely have to have the brand as the practice and the company. And I would say something more general, like less your specific name. However, if you are somebody you feel like can leverage social media from a personal brand standpoint, it's going to do nothing but help grow your practice. Fun fact is when we first started Studio 88, we didn't even build a website for Studio 88. We first built joshuascott.com because I had been in the dental space for like 12 years with a consulting company. And it was this, we didn't want to get in the noise of all the dental marketing companies and nobody knew who we were. People knew who I was. And so it was like humans buy from humans. We buy from people we trust. And so what if we just started leveraging relationships to kind of start to get that critical mass? And then over the years, it was 3 years before Studio 88 built a website for ourselves. And it was kind of weird. It was a little bit of a flex. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like I'd be on the phone with somebody and they're like, so you build websites? Yes. But you don't have a website for yourself. I'm like, that's right. And they were just like, okay, let's go, let's do it. Um, but once we did build it and have allowed the brand to evolve, yeah, there's so much more flexibility, opportunities. Now, I mean, even my team, like we have certain team members that are front people on social media. My sales director, Mike, is down in a conference room right now giving a speech on his own. And so like that part is really fun and rewarding to see other people take ownership and step out in front.
No. I love that.
Yeah.
And
Question.
such a great question. And I'll echo what you guys have already said. I mean, you just never know what is going to happen in the future. And if it was Ashley Hovez Dental, I think it really does handcuff you to the practice. I mean, it's already hard enough that people see me and they think that I'm Smiling Co. But I do have such an amazing team, and I have literally stepped away from the practice the last 6 months. I've been in once or twice a week, and this past, like when he had his third surgery, I was out for a month and a half. And the practice has still been great because my team members are amazing, the doctors are amazing, and patients understand that we are a group practice and that we all have the same philosophy. So, yeah, pick a name, pick a brand that is going to be able to grow with or without you, should you need it. Hopefully not, but just in case.
Okay, friends, quick break to thank our sponsor, Studio 88. Starting your own practice is hard enough, right? The last thing you need is to become a full-time marketing expert too. That's where Studio 88 comes in. They don't believe in cookie cutter marketing. They believe in your story, and they help you tell it beautifully, strategically, and in a way that actually connects with your dream patients. Over 500 dentists, including me, have trusted Studio 88 to help build a brand that feels true to who you are and grows with you. So if you're ready for marketing that actually works, head to s8e8.com. That's the letter S, number 8, letter E, number 8.com. Book a discovery call and see how they can help you build something extraordinary, because your story is worth it. And now let's get back to the show.
Okay. Is it better to have a lease in hand before starting discussions with a high-end agency?
What do you mean by high-end agency?
Like Studio 88.
Okay. No, I mean, I didn't. I think, unless Josh made a good point, some people do want to have their name and their branding associated with the area of town that they're in. But I can't think of another reason why I should have waited, unless you feel indecisive based on you could be in another state. Maybe you're going to be around mountains. Maybe you're going to be around the beach. You know, if you're traveling somewhere and you just don't know the vibe or the feeling of the community surrounding. But if you have an instinct or, any part of your story that you want to represent, I don't think you have to wait.
Yeah.
It's almost
Yeah.
better to get it done.
I know. I think there's some, I don't know if that was true for you, but I have heard from clients, it's almost a relief of when you can check that box and now you feel like, okay, now you've got a marketing partner and you've got people to run stuff by and they're keeping a timeline. It's just something else that's kind of like off of the plate. Yeah, the only reason to wait is if your name is going to be dependent on the location. There's a couple ways the name practices. I mean, one of them, could be around your personal name, and we've seen that for generations happen. There's just something what I would call like a generic general name, like Bloom, or there's location specific. And a lot of times you're doing that for a bit of an SEO play to get search, if you name after the city or whatever. So that would be the only time where I'm like, you could start it, but man, if that lease falls through or something changes, now you got to go back and redo that work, and that can cost you a couple $1,000 to do that. So
Yeah, to piggyback off you, I was looking at my to-do list, right? Because I had coaching and they told me all the things in my timeline I could be knocking out. And I am just like someone who doesn't like things lingering. And I was looking at that list saying, what can I get done before I have a lease signed? And that was one of the things. And as soon as that was done, I had a sign company make my sign even before they could put it up, you know? And yeah, I like what you said. I think it's something that you should just, stick with it, go with your gut, pick a good team, and just have it saved for when you get that lease. You already know it's going to happen.
yep.
Another question is, I'm still an associate for 6 more months. Is it too early to start the branding process with Studio 88? When do I need to start teasing the brand so I have a full schedule on day one?
Go ahead, Josh.
The first thing that came to mind was just like whether or not the practice you're working for knows about it,
Yeah.
because you start teasing that could get you in some trouble real quick. So yeah, I think the number one thing is the relationship there. Like if they know about it and they're supportive of it, then man, my belief is people really enjoy the process and watching the process. So the sooner you can start bringing people along with the branding and social media and just showing this documenting this journey of an entrepreneur with this vision and okay, we're going to go build this and then watching you build it along the way we probably, I don't know, we tend to get in our heads and, oh, that's narcissistic and people don't care and who am I and what if it doesn't happen? And all that gets in our head. But the fact is, people are fascinated by that and they want to support. I think a lot of people have come to grips with, I probably am never going to be an entrepreneur myself. I don't have the guts or the vision or whatever. But man, they love supporting entrepreneurs because they know it's an act of bravery and courage. And so, that's probably a long answer to go. I would start it sooner rather than later. And, if you're 6 months out, like, yeah, man, start talking about it, documenting it, showing the process, all the little things. I actually need to do a better job of this with our building. I've been trying to go over there like every 2 weeks and, take something and just the status update of it. But people love that stuff.
Yeah. Um, as you were saying that, I feel like I just lived that, because I had a good relationship with my previous boss and she knew about everything. So I didn't have to keep anything under wraps. So my first big marketing event where we had a booth set up at, a big festival with 3,000 people in our community was before we even broke ground. It was a
Yeah.
few weeks before we even broke ground. I had a coming soon sign up and this is over a year later now. That was last March when I had my first marketing event, and we still get new patients. And they put where they were referred from. They met me at that festival.
Yeah.
It was tremendous help to getting our name out early. I have multiple patients who come in and they're like, I've watched your whole journey from the ground up to what you were saying, because I posted it all on Instagram. And I think it also just adds to the pride for you and your whole team, and it can't hurt.
Yeah.
So just as soon as you feel comfortable to get your brand out there, start it, because what's going to happen? It's either you do that and people don't show up, or you don't do it and people don't show up and you never knew if it could have helped. So I say just go for it.
One of the laws of marketing is momentum. That's really what it is. And so for marketing to be momentum, it means it has to have a force behind it. And usually it's either hustle and energy or it's money. And when you're younger and starting out, you don't have as much money. So you get out there and you hustle and you put your energy behind it to spread that message and to create that momentum. And then typically when you get busier and mature business, you start to fund that more with money as the main driver of momentum. So to say all that, I go, it's better to start 6 months out, creating that momentum, getting that energy out there, hustling, doing the community events, like creating a social media account. You'll be so thankful when you open your doors because you'll feel that momentum behind you and that energy versus, okay, we waited till 30 days before we open. Now you're just trying to recreate that kind
Yeah.
of really close up to the opening.
Yeah, and I had my brand, I had my logo by then. So I made a little table cover that had our logo on it. And I think that just makes it, right? The more someone sees something, the more they're going to reach out or be like, what is this business? And so I started that a year before we even opened, or 6 months before we opened. And just brand recognition, if you have your logo and things, put it on stuff, get it out into the community, have people subconsciously already thinking about you.
Yes.
Another question is, I feel like I'm just a normal dentist who wants to do good work. I don't have a crazy backstory or a unique hobby. How does Studio 88 find a story when the doctor feels like they don't have one?
Yes, I love this question. And we get it a lot because we can tend to show the projects that are, have these like crazy stories or even Ashley, like I can't tell you how many times somebody has told me I'm not Ashley Hoves. I'm like, no, you're not. But meaning like what you did with
Oh,
her, you're not going to be able to do with me. And I was like, well, that's not even how we approach it. To say, you might look at yourself and think you're a normal dentist, but our process is to get to know you. And And chances are there is a story there, number one. I'm a big believer in, like, I think when we're in our lives on a micro level and
Mhm.
we rarely get to pull back and see that big picture. But every now and then, like, you guys have all had these moments where you get a glimpse of that. It's almost like you pull back everything and you're watching this movie of your life play, and you see your spouse and your kids, and you have this like this is beautiful, like this is so meaningful. And but yet, man, you could be right back into spaghetti being thrown across the kitchen and you're just like, oh my gosh. I mean, that beauty goes right out the window.
Yep.
So I think when somebody else looks at your life from that type of perspective, A, they see different things. But secondly, it doesn't have to be about you as a person either. It can be about your team. It can be about that community. It could be about just dental care in that community and why you chose that profession, that location. There's so many different angles you can take with it. Our job is to figure out what's unique and pull that out and create a message around it.
Yeah, I really empathize with this whole concept and with this question because I think none of us really feel special. But when you kind of take a step back and you look at the percentage of the population who are actually dentists, we are very special. And then you take a step further into looking at us compared to corporate dentistry, to, the practices that have been around for decades. Our generation of dentists are trying to do something different for our communities. And I think you even stepping out of the norm and wanting to approach a company like Studio 88 to tell your story shows that there is something special and different about you. Now, I personally, it's been a journey for me. I feel like naturally I'm a confident person, but I didn't want to get in front of a camera and film myself talking about dental hygiene, education, and things. And I didn't really know my personal brand when talking about wanting to get on Instagram or social media, right? But you just kind of take that step and it gets easier and just be genuine in your personality. And those things kind of follow and come out around you. So now, what I feel was really simple with that process with Studio 88 is they do kind of extract your story. And I think Josh should talk a little bit about just your whole concept and what I know about your company being a story driven website branding company is so unique because their questions are so clear and concise. It pulls out what you're passionate about if you don't even know it, possibly. So while I walked into the making of retreat thinking like, I'm not a fancy dentist. I'm not COIS trained. I don't do cosmetic dentistry. Some of these huge cases that you see on famous Instagram dentists, it makes you feel like I'm just normal. I like to just do crowns and fillings and take care of my patients and their kids and be the small town dentist. But that's okay. You're still special. And I think what Studio 88 helped me find in my branding is that I am so passionate about empowering people to feel educated, to understand their overall health more, but it's nothing fancy, it's just your story of why you became a dentist. I think Studio 8 would be able to extract what's so special about that piece and make a brand that you don't even know exists yet.
I love that. I have one last question. Can you believe it's already been 53 minutes?
No, we needed a 2-hour session.
I have a question. So many questions in the group are related to marketing. Like, how much should I be budgeting? How do I know where those budgeting dollars are going towards? And a lot of people think like, okay, well, Studio 88 builds beautiful websites, but why choose them for handling our marketing? Can you talk about that, Josh?
Yeah, yeah. It's a really great question. And I would say the backstory is when I started Studio 88, we were definitely a creative agency, and we were probably that way for 10 years. I did it on purpose because when I looked at dental marketing as a whole, I've always felt like the profession is it's inspiring, it's innovative, it's humans serving humans, and I never really saw that story. And so I was like, number one with marketing here is let's just tell a better story around dentistry. And if you do that, I think you're going to win. And so that created websites and photo and video and branding and all the things we really built ourselves that way. What happened though is the evolution of that was clients would go, or they would end up leaving us because we didn't do digital ads, we didn't do SEO, we didn't do social media. And what I realized over the years, kind of where how my thinking and approach has evolved is it's really two parts. It's the story-driven creative. That's what connects with people in the community. But you got to have the performance marketing with it too, which is what's creating engagement. And if you can do those two things, you can actually predictably grow a practice. And that's why people hire marketing companies. I mean, I tell our team that all the time. Like, no, nobody's just trying to throw money at us just because they're like, need to check a box for marketing. It's really they're trying to grow a business. That is why you hire a marketing company. So at the end of that equation has to be growth. But I think it can be more predictable than we realize if you can create story-driven creative and put it with performance marketing. And so the last like about 3 years ago, we began to build out our SEO team, our digital ads team, our social team, because I really think that the best ideal combination is one agency that gets that and can seamlessly integrate that story-driven creative into that. And so even us producing reels and social media content now, like that's been an evolution of our video team to with even the photos being used on like blog posts and SEO. And right now, like the big thing with SEO search is Google was not able to scan images before. It was just the text on a site, but now AI is able to read images. So those photos are going to play a role in the SEO of the site. Who better to coordinate that than the company that actually caught that stuff and can seamlessly integrate it? So I think in dentistry, there's either been you had to choose either creative or marketing, and that's kind of been the state of dental marketing for the last like 20, 30 years. I think there's a better way, and that's what we are integrating and building currently.
And so if this person is interested in setting up a call with you, Josh, do they get a call with you or is it someone on your team? Can you just walk through the process of the discovery call so they know what to expect?
Yeah, first off, I would say just set up a call with us, even if you have questions. Our team is very consultative. It's two people. It's Mike, he's our sales director, and Erica. And they're both very, very good at what they do. But just from the approach of, hey, if I were you, this is what I would take. Here's some things to be thinking about. So we take a very consultative approach. The first step would be that discovery call. They usually want to block 45 minutes. They're going to ask you the first half of that 20 something minutes is them getting to know you. They're going to walk through a series of questions, Tony, almost like that workbook, but just from almost like a meet and greet type phase of help me get a handle on what you're facing and what's going on. And then they'll just be honest about how we can help. And our services, we have bundled them in about 3 different packages. And so a lot of that is to just go, okay, are you more brand centric and you don't need a lot of marketing? That's one package. Do you want to be assertive in both creative and marketing? That's our middle package. And do you just want to be the market leader and take over your entire community? That's like our last package. And so they can kind of walk you through those, but then even customize them. And they send you over a proposal, just what that looks like, very upfront about the investment around it. And then, yeah, once it's signed and comes back, it's off to the races and all the fun gets started.
And you guys know that I only work with companies who I know, love, and trust. And Studio 88 has been that company for me since day one. They were with me since 2017 with Smiling Pro Folsom. And I don't really know if too many people in the group have heard about Studio 88. I certainly didn't. And now just to see how fast you guys have grown, it's because of a reason. Like, you guys are true professionals. I have loved website number 1 that you built for me. I've loved even more when you guys came out and shot the new office. I mean, you guys are just bringing your A game and they're always on top of what is next. And now, before we even hit record, we were talking about AI and how that is going to be a significant driver of like just marketing, the world in general. So you need to choose your investments wisely. You need to make sure that you are working with people who understand the market, who understand your story, and have a very true, definitive path to get you the results that you're looking for. And they've worked for me. They've certainly worked for Toni and so many countless startup docs. And I love you guys, like not just as a creative agency, but as friends. You guys are just so amazing. And yeah, I adore you guys so much. And that is our show. Holy crap, that flew by, guys. Are there any last minute thoughts before we wrap?
I will say, because I don't have a 10-year standing relationship with Studio 88 like you do, but I just, after meeting and my first impression at the retreat, and I can say now, a year in, we've been working together. I think something that also just stands out overall about the company is the culture of the people that you hire at Studio
Yes.
88. It feels so different than any of the other, you're the only, marketing and website company I've ever worked with. So just outside, just my business as a whole, I have all of these other outside affiliates that I work with, and no one has the culture or just the cool people that work at Studio 88. And I think that's part of the storytelling, the culture of your brand, is that you have so many creative people working with you and your team, that I've truly just enjoyed, our design visits, my marketing, catch ups, and looking at all of that, just because the people are genuinely so caring and thoughtful, and attention to detail is amazing, that the whole process has been so fun and so smooth for me, which I'm grateful for as a new business owner. It's one less thing to stress about, right?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, we're really, really intentional about our culture and we protect it. And genuinely, we are better today than we were, Ashley, when we first started working with you. Like our team is so much more talented. And part of that culture is we have a quarterly process, kind of like EOS, but every team in our company, like so design, for instance, photo, video, every quarter they have to have at least two goals for their team. And it pushes their team ahead. And so it allows us to not ever just get satisfied with where we're at. And, before you know it, like you spend a year working on client work, but the business hasn't evolved at all. And so every team basically throughout the course of the year could have, 8 to 12 goals that move their team forward and advance it. And it's a just expected part of our culture that happens. So yeah, it's fun to lead that team.
I'm going to write that down and steal that for my team.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is wonderful. Well, guys, thank you guys for listening to another episode of The Making of. If you are on the fence or you just are curious about the process, make sure to give Studio 88 a call. You won't regret it. And I guess that's it. What are your guys' plans this weekend while we wrap?
Mine's a long story, but remember my flooring issue?
Yes.
They're starting today. So we're
Oh.
homeless for
Oh.
long.
You mean unhoused, Toni? You have to be PC, unhoused.
So
And
yeah,
then,
we're kind of hotel and Airbnb hopping this.
ooh, Four Seasons it is.
Yeah, yeah, right there.
I didn't stay at the Four Seasons at that retreat. Remember, I'm not there yet.
And what about you, Josh?
We don't have a lot. I was in Indianapolis on Wednesday. I had to fly here to Atlanta for kind of a last minute thing. I'm flying back home here as soon as I get off with you guys. I'll land about 6 o'clock. I'm gonna probably go pick up some pizzas, join the
Nice.
girls. Caden's at college now, so it's just the girls at home, and
Oh,
probably just get on the couch and watch a movie tonight. And it looks like Joanna made some dinner reservations tomorrow night for us. Probably since I've been gone most of the week, she's like, "All right,
oh,
let's go to dinner." So yeah, be a pretty low key weekend.
I love that. And can I just say how freaking gorgeous Aaliyah is? Like,
Oh,
are you
thank you.
even kidding me? She is tall.
Yeah. Yeah. She
Wow.
we were spring break. She turned 16 and she took a friend with her, and
Oh my
there
God.
was a picture I caught of her on the balcony with me, and I'm just like obsessed with it.
Oh,
She's a beautiful girl.
she really is. I mean, have you seen her parents? Stunning.
Well, Joanna for sure. Thanks.
Well, guys, thank you guys for wrapping up with me and just for hanging out with me for an hour. And then for all of you listening at home, we hope you have a wonderful weekend and stay tuned for the next season of The Making of and for the next episode. I'm sure there's going to be more amazing content.
Over 500 dentists, including me, have trusted Studio 88 to help build a brand that feels true to who you are and grows with you. So if you're ready for marketing that actually works, head to s8e8.com. That's the letter S, number 8, letter E, number 8.com. Book a discovery call and see how they can help you build something extraordinary, because your story is worth it.
All right, without further ado, take care, guys. Bye.